Wigan have now shown that they can play big games without him, which I think, in years gone by, that wasn't the case. But hopefully he's still got a couple of big games left in him to go out on a high from sort of the Wigan perspective. But
Yeah, I suppose one, yeah.
Well, you don't think he's going to play on Thursday? It's weird. But yeah, I just think he's going to be remembered incredibly fondly. And he's been the captain at Wigan for 15 seasons. That's massive. Or 14 seasons, sorry. It's massive.
Yeah, there can't be many kind of captains who've done that in the history of the game, frankly. So.
Yeah, so shall we move on to the other Wigan news that kind of wasn't news in a way, but was news because it happened?
Yeah, so Wigan Warriors halfback Jackson Hastings has signed a new contract to remain with the Super League club for the 2021 season. The 24-year-old, how is he only 24 still? Joined the club from Salford a few months prior to taking them to last season's grand final and winning the 2019 Man of Steel award. So Tom Andrews says, great news for Wigan and Super League. Great player and a top bloke. Should link well with Field.
Yeah, the sort of weirdness about this is he signed a 2-year contract, but the second year of that contract had to be enacted by the end of June this year. And with everything that was going on, or not going on, should we say, I suppose, in June this year, he never signed on for that second year. But as the season's gone on, he's clearly grown into his role at Wigan and wants to stay for that second year. So he will be with Wigan next year. It is a big signing for Super League that we haven't lost a Man of Steel so soon after he won his Man of Steel. It feels like an overseas one. So hopefully he can keep performing in the Super League.
Yep.
St Helens have signed Tonga international Ignatius Passy from the New Zealand Warriors on a 2-year deal with an option for a further 12 months. The 27-year-old prop, who played under Saints boss Christian Wolff for the Mati Mar Tonga side, has played 107 NRL games down under. Passy also scored 14 tries with the Warriors and Gold Coast Titans across 7 seasons. A big forward coming in to Saints. Anyone know much about him?
Yeah, I've got to say I was a bit underwhelmed by this signing. Whenever I've seen him down under, he's had the odd decent game.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was a bit underwhelmed by the signing. To be frank, I kind of hoped that they might have a domestic kind of homegrown player coming in rather than signing an average NRL prop.
Like a new Walmsley.
Yeah. I mean, I know you can't unearth a new Walmsley every year. Do you know what I mean? That players like that are rare, but I hoped that they'd be able to kind of promote from within, personally. But that's up to them.
I don't know him at all, I'm afraid.
No, but you do know the next St Helens forward to talk about, Sarah.
I do. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook has signed a new contract to remain with the Super League club for an 11th successive season. The 34-year-old initially joined Saints from Harlequins back in 2010 and has since made 292 appearances. So, yeah, good bit of business.
Yeah, but, I guess staying at the top level when you're 34 is, it's good for him, isn't it?
Yeah, he's had a couple of reasonable years, hasn't he, as well? And one has been kind of predominantly just played down the middle after being almost the guy that Saints thought, shit, there's an injury, let's put him somewhere else kind of thing during games and stuff like that. Maybe it hampered him a little bit of playing his best rugby consistently, but the last couple of years he's just played at prop or just played in the middle and he's done all right.
Yeah, I think so.
Wakefield.
Some very good business.
Oh, sorry. Is it you? Sorry, go on. It is you. Yeah.
It is me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah. So some very good business in that Wakefield Trinity forward Klepi Tanganoa has extended his contract until the end of the 2024 season. The 26-year-old Australian has featured 36 times since joining the Super League side in May 2019.
We did get a fan viewing on this one, but it was later. It was after the rundown, but I noticed it this morning. Mark Wilson got in touch and said Delighted with Kalepi extending his stay at Wakey, especially as we have turned down a bid or two in the last few weeks. He has really developed this year, cutting out mistakes, playing big minutes, and makes an impact whenever he plays, especially with his edge running at pace. Along with some of the other big names we have been able to hold on to, Tupu, Fafita, Johnston, hopefully this allows us to cement and build in 2021. So the Wakefield fans are excited. You sound excited too, Alan.
Just that whenever I've seen Wakefield this year, he's been one of their best players. So I would imagine he'd have been one of the priority guys for them to retain. And 2024, that's quite a long deal for, it's a long-term contract, and it has an inherent value then, doesn't it? If somebody else does come sniffing around.
Yeah, of course, Sarah. What do you think of Tanganoa's performances this year? More than earned a new deal?
I think definitely, yeah. I think, it's also good for Wakefield that they've managed to keep hold of him. And as you say, it isn't a short deal that he's signed on, is it? It's a decent length of time.
Yeah, you want the talent to be spread around the league to some extent, even though we all want our own teams to be the ones that have the most of the best talent. But I think it's good news for the league that Wakefield have retained Tanganoa, because definitely he's a player that every other club higher up in the table than Wakefield, and maybe with more resources than Wakefield, would have been looking at after his performances this year. So well done, Wakefield. New Zealand-born prop Sebastian Ikehefo will return to Salford Red Devils in 2021 after a loan deal was agreed with Huddersfield. The 27-year-old made 17 appearances for the Red Devils, helping the club to a first Challenge Cup final in 51 years, where they lost to Leeds. Ireland international Oliver Roberts will also return to the AJ Bell from the Giants for the 2021 season. Giants seem to have still want to do business with the Salford Red Devils, even after it seems they've poached their coach.
Maybe it's some sort of exchange deal.
Yeah, it's curious. It's a loan again, though, isn't it? Because, he'll have been there as long as some, professional contracts.
They did this
It'll be there longer, won't it?
They did this with Rankin, didn't they, in Castleford?
Yeah. There may be some advantage to doing it in terms of I don't know.
In the registration still.
Yeah, maybe.
Weird.
It does seem. Yeah. But on Salford, and they've introduced a new club badge for the 2021 Super League season, which marks a return to the Devil's Head logo. The former Devil logo was changed at the end of 2017, marking the end of ex-earner Marwan Kukash's involvement. In a statement, the club said that the rebrand was influenced by consultation with major broadcast partners. They added that an updated brand image was a necessity as they bid to capitalise on opportunities presented by the digital age. And Tom Andrews says, "I knew Widnes were short on cash, but selling their Viking identity to both Salford and Wigan seems dramatic. Looking forward to seeing a Rhino, Robin, Wildcat and Thunder Shark in a Viking hat too."
Yeah, I think obviously when the clubs have gone out for these brand consultations, everything that's come back is said horns. Everyone wants to see horns. That seems to be the main thing, doesn't it? The main theme of the rebrands.
Maybe that's why Bradford's getting an invite next year.
Ah,
maybe it's a horn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'd known this earlier.
The other thing that struck me is 2017 wasn't the digital age, but 2020 is.
Yeah, that's true. Way back in 2017.
I think everyone sort of felt their move to draw a line under the Kukash era ushered in a primary school, like a primary school badge era, didn't really work right, and probably I would say the new logo is the new badge is no better than Wigan's new badge and no worse than Wigan's new badge, but because it's gone from being quite a rubbish badge, to be honest, to being the new modernised one, it's going to have got less heat.
You
can't get angry about a badge you've changed 4 times in 10 years, can you?
No, exactly.
You're not going to have the same emotional attachment, are you?
No.
Exactly. Yeah. Is this involving the same people that have been involved in Wigan's? Do you know that?
From what I understand, the initial kind of consultation that was with the major broadcast partners will have involved the same sorts of voices and recommendations, but Salford got someone else to do it, someone who's a Salford fan. The guy who does the podcast with Jackson Hastings, Behind the Athlete, it's him who does some brand management stuff himself in his professional life. He's been involved in this. So, yeah. So everyone knows where to send their hate if they don't like it.
So, Hull KR have signed prop Albert Vete from Melbourne Storm on a deal that will expire at the end of 2022, subject to visa approval. Wonderful visas. The 27-year-old arrives at Craven Park having made 2 appearances for Tonga and 6 for the Storm in their 2020 NRL title season. Tom Andrews again says, big, nasty-looking prop, exactly what the doctor ordered. 3 more wouldn't go amiss. His lack of games is a slight concern, but I'd imagine it's hard to get into that Melbourne team. But you're also not in that Melbourne squad unless you've got something about you.
Well, they do have the odd kind of add-on in the Melbourne squads over the years, don't they? That's maybe not been a player that you look at and think they're outstanding, but you're going to have learnt stuff at Melbourne that makes you better than you would have been probably for not being at Melbourne. So you'd hope that that's what Vete's picked up from a Rovers point of view. Yeah.
Again, I've only seen him in limited games, but he struck me as being kind of what you look for in a prop. So I'm sure he'll do very well for KR.
I think he needs to up his consistency. I've never seen him have I've never noticed him being a player that jumps out multiple weeks in a row. So that's the thing I'd be looking for him to up at Hull KR to get sort of value out of him. But it's a promising signing, certainly.
Yeah, well, if it's inconsistency you want, KR's the place to be, isn't it? So.
I think some might argue they've been pretty consistent this year, apart from 1 or 2 games. But Hull KR have also announced the capture of, it says here outside back, but I think he might be a good option for that second or third big prop that Tom's looking for. Outside back Ryan Hall until the end of the 2022 season. Joining from Sydney Roosters, the Great Britain and England international will join the club on a 2-year deal commencing in 2021. Hall has made over 300 Super League appearances, scoring 234 tries, winning 6 Super League Grand Finals and 2 Challenge Cup titles, all with the Leeds Rhinos. Of course, is England's top record try scorer as well. A few people got in touch on this one. Carsten said, imagine what he could achieve on the outside of the legend that is Jimmy Kinehorse again. Tom Andrews said, well, you could see this coming, hopefully nice and fresh from his rest in Oz. Linnett and Hall on one wing would be a nice combo. Again, another sign-in with fitness doubts, but could be proven wrong. More of this, please, Rovers. And Joshua's granddad said, another one to fill his pockets at the home for the retired Rhinos. Should be nice and rested, though, as he spent last year topping up his tan in Oz. Love to see the quote from Tony Smith talking about Ryan signing for a tiny club. I don't know what quote he's talking about. Was there a quote?
No.
Is that? I don't understand.
I'm not sure. Anyway, Huddersfield have returned the service.
Are we not going to talk a bit more about Ryan Hall?
Sorry,
yeah, we are. Yeah, he deserves it. He deserves a bit of chat. Yeah.
Sorry.
Are we not going to talk about this guy hasn't scored a try in 2 years?
I'm sure he will do a very good job for KR. I think I think a lot of all the stuff at the Roosters was a bit of an aberration in terms of his lack of scoring. I think it's a very good signing, personally.
Do you think the lack of game time, Sarah, might actually help kind of prolong his career in a weird way and kind of give him more appetite to perform next year?
Maybe. I'm not. Yeah, it's a really interesting one. I mean, a good Ryan Hall